Hello everyone, it's me, Ben Robson. Before we start, I'm going to say that it's been 5 years since I've released my first illustrated storybook, Kitty Realms. I had my first book launch. It was a great book launch, and that's until it was followed by other great stories I've created. And it was great to have my Ollie, Luther, Dory and Moet being the brilliant stars of the book. Happy anniversary to my cats, to my fairies, and to my first masterpiece. Let's begin the video now. Hello everyone, this is Ben Robson. I'm going to tell you a story that is a sequel to Kitty Realms, The Siege of Moristan. In this really long video, I'm about to tell you a story about the dark forces of evil coming to destroy Moristan. Now it's up to the cats Ollie, Luther, Dory and Moet, and the fairies Natasha, Lilu, Livia and Amanda to search for the rescue party to fight them at all costs. But if you want to read it to yourself, you can either turn off a volume or pause the video. And if you want to take a break, you can add it into a watch later list. So sit back, get yourself comfy, and enjoy the story. Some years had passed since Ollie and his gang saved Alvidar from Slikkar. Since then, the land had been peaceful and people prospered. On this day, Ollie and his siblings were travelling all the way to Moristan to see Nosbor and Klupsha's new child, Mealy. Ollie says, "Well, this is going to be a great day at Moristan. Ever since we received the letter telling us about Mealy, I have been so excited." Dory says, "I know. I bet Klupsha Nosbor's kitten is so cute." Ollie says, "It's an honour that Klupsha had asked us to look after her new kitten for a while." Luther says, "I'm looking forward to see the cutie." Moet says, "Me too, Luther." Luther says, "I hope she doesn't dribble over me when I babysit her." As the gang were chatting, they came upon Shadow, Bomber, and the fairies. Shadow called to Ollie's group, "Hey guys, hey Ollie Berry." She and Ollie kissed. "Nosbor and Klupsha's kitten is a girl. I guess, like us, you are on your way to see her." So the 6 cats and the 4 fairies travelled together and arrived at the castle to see the new child. As the gang rushed inside the castle, they saw Nosbor and Klupsha. Nosbor says, "Hello dear friends, come and meet our new baby girl." They saw Klupsha with Mealy, and she did look so cute. Mealy, the princess of Moristan. Dory says, "Oh, she's so cute." Amanda says, "I know, she's the first princess of Moristan." Dory says, "Yeah, I think she is." Natasha looked at the new kitten and said, "Hello little Mealy, you are the most beautiful girl in all the realms." Mealy let out her first meow, and it gave Natasha tears of joy, and she said, "Oh, she said her first word." Lulu says, "Natasha, are you okay?" Natasha says, "I'm more than okay. We're just happy because our young princess is born and has just meowed." Lilu had tears of joy also, and the 2 fairies hugged each other, as did Livia and Amanda. Then Ollie decided to ask Nosbor the question. "So, Nosbor, are you going to show the cats of Moristan your new daughter?" Nosbor says, "Yes, of course. It's all in my schedule, my boy." Nosbor and Klupsha had been making plans to present their daughter to the citizens of Moristan. On the day of presentation, all Nosbor and Klupsha's subjects came to the castle to see Mealy. Nosbor says, "My friends, my wife and I had a child, and it's a girl." Klupsha says, "Here she is, and we have named her Mealy, Princess of Moristan." The cats were delighted to see the little princess. Dory and Ollie turned to each other, and Dory said to her brother, "This is amazing, Ollie." Ollie says, "Yes, it is. The cats of Moristan are so happy." Ollie went on to ask Dory if she would help him babysit when Nosbor and Klupsha had kingdom duties to attend to. Luther and Moet said they would take turns babysitting with us. Dory wasn't keen on babysitting, but she agreed. That afternoon, Ollie and his siblings are looking after Mealy in the castle garden. They were just watching Mealy play around. The fairies were sitting in a branch at the top of a tree watching the kitten play. Livia says, "Oh, would you look at that? The child is having a fun day. It is a good thing the heroes of Alvadar are looking after her while our king and queen are attending to their duties." Natasha says, "It is." Amanda says, where's Lulu going?" Natasha says, she's flying down to be next to Luther. You know how she likes him. Do you remember her giving him tummy tickles? Livia says, "Oh yeah, I remember that too." At that moment, Dory's boyfriend Dylan appeared with his sister Daisy. Dylan called to Dory, "Hey baby." Dory says, "Hi honey, how you doing?" Dory introduced them to Ollie, Luther and Moet. Dory says, "My brothers, this is Dylan and Daisy. Dylan and I met each other a couple of months ago." Ollie says, "Hey Dylan, nice to meet you. And you too, Daisy." Dory says, "We're here to meet and look after the Princess Mealy." Dylan says, "Cool." Dylan approached Mealy and said, "Hey little lady, how you doing?" Dylan then turned to Dory and asked if she would like to go for a walk with him around the castle grounds and into a village a short distance away. Dory says, "Oh yes, I would love to." Dory and Dylan set out together, leaving Daisy behind to help look after the princess. Dory says, "It's nice to go out walking with you. It seems ages since we were last together." Dylan says, "Yes, I have missed you, Dory." Dory says, "I love it here in Moristan. What about you?" Dylan says, "Same here. I think this place is absolutely beautiful." Their walk took them to the village called Archer, where they decided to find somewhere to eat. Soon they found a cozy-looking tavern that looked just perfect. Dory and Dylan sat down together at a table and took a menu each to look at. Dory decided to have fish and chips with vanilla milk, and Dylan decided to have the same. The waitress came and took their order. Waitress, "Okay, coming right up." A few minutes later, their meal arrived. "Here you go. I must say you two make a lovely couple." Dory and Dylan says, "Thank you, that's kind of you to say." Dory says, "Wow, Dylan, this food looks amazing." After their romantic dinner, they returned to the castle. Somewhere far away from all the other realms, there was a very dark and cruel island. On that island lived a very evil lord, who was a panther, and an emperor. His name was Lord Pouguar. He was an immensely powerful and evil creature. He was banished to this dark island by Nosbor's father a long time ago. With no means to cross the sea, all the other realms in the world would be safe from him. Pouguar, however, had been using his dark magic on the crows of the island. Over the years, they had grown into giant birds that he and his minions could ride. Now the sea was no obstacle to him, and he would get his revenge at last. He said to himself in a very deep, dark, slithering voice, "Soon, all of Moristan will be mine. With my eternal and unlimited powers, I will control all of the kingdom, and I will rule every cat's mind. Then, I will destroy its king and his family. I will be king, but even better, I will be an immortal god." Pouguar decided it was time to talk to his panther jaguar minions about his plan. Pouguar says, "Listen up, my jaguars. I have a plan to rule Moristan. Its wretched king Bobcaster banished me here in this cold and miserable place. Now his pesky brat Nosbor sits on the throne with his royal family around him." Jaguar 1 says, "A royal family? So, what is your plan, Lord? What are we to do?" Pouguar says,
I will have my revenge. We will destroy them all.
Jaguar 1 says,
Oh yes, my liege, we can do that. Pouguar says, We have giant crows that will fly us across the sea. On the way to Moristan, there is the realm of the Portals. Its inhabitants are weak. There we will test the crows' skills and refine our strategy before we lay siege to the castle of Moristan. With my dark magic, the crows have become my loyal servants. The beat of their black wings will be like thunder over Moristan.
The Jaguar says, My lord, I will gather our army and have them prepare to fly.
Pouguar says, Yes, all the way to Portal Island, then on to Moristan to conquer everything and anything there. I will be prepared for the death of the royal family.
The Jaguar says, Are they sick?
Pouguar says, No, fool, we're going to kill them, and all the citizens will bow down to the great Pouguar. Do you understand what I want you to do?
The Jaguar says, Oh yes, master. Let us gather the crows.
Pouguar and the jaguars went all the way to a dark nests to see the crows. Pouguar says, Ah, my friends, are you ready? He asked the crows. The crows squawked and screeched. The sound was deafening. Pouguar laughed and let out a thunderous roar. Yes! Yes! And now get ready. I'm so looking forward to getting my paws on that realm. Once Moristan has fallen, we will attack the other realms. The world will be mine. All mine! The jaguars and Pouguar mounted the giant crows and flew first to Portal Island. Pouguar burst out in a very distorted laugh and called to a king of the Portals. Fall before me, you slimy creatures! I will destroy this kingdom of yours, and I will make you suffer! The crows descended on Portal Island. Its inhabitants were defenseless. Within hours the island was in Pouguar's hands, and many of the Portals had all been destroyed. 2 young Portals managed to escape to the sea, where they swam towards Moristan. Pouguar didn't much like the look of Portal Island. It was far too colourful and pretty. He would stay a while and make some changes. The place needed to be darker. That would be more to his liking. Moristan could wait a while. Besides, the longer he waited, the bigger his crows would grow. The next day, Ollie and the gang decided to go out for a walk together. The fairies also decide to join them. Ollie says, It's a lovely day for our walk, my friends. The fairies agreed and suggested they take a stroll to a beach. Moe says, Okay, that sounds lovely. Let's go. After an hour or so into the walk, the party were approaching the beach. Lilu thought she could see something in the water. It seemed to be splashing around. I wonder, is that someone swimming? Who could that be? Natasha saw something swimming too and said, Looks like there are 2 Portals. They must have swum all the way from Portal Island. They must be exhausted. Maybe we should help them. Lilu says, Yes, let's fly out to them to make sure they're okay. As the fairies flew off, the cats ran towards the water's edge. Natasha says, Hello there, can we help you? The 2 Portals named Earl and Dipper were exhausted and could hardly answer. Eventually, they collapsed on the beach of Moristan, where the cats stood around them. Earl says, Oh, hey guys, something terrible has happened to our home. Dipper says, Yes, the sky turned dark, and when we looked up, we saw giant black pigeons flying all around. A large cat was riding the largest bird. He was laughing like a mad thing, and his army of giant birds and their riders descended on our people with their sharp claws and fangs. Claws and fangs?
he said his name was Lord Pouguar. Earl says, we only just managed to escape with our lives. I am not sure if anyone else survived. The fairies and cats were shocked, and Amanda says, oh no, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. Earl says, he shouted that he's going to take over the world, including your home. Amanda says, oh no, not Moristan. Then Ollie says, what, really? Are you kidding me? Dipper says, sadly no. I absolutely cannot believe that, me gritty son of a... Leo says, I really didn't say that because this is a children's book. Dipper says, right, sorry. Ollie says, guys, we must take these two brave pearls to see our king and queen. We must warn them. Earl says, yeah, I think you should. We'll come along. There was no time to lose. The cats, fairies and pearls make great haste all the way to Nosbor's castle. Ollie and the gang ran inside the castle looking for the king. They found Nosbor with his council in the throne room, and Ollie says, my lord Nosbor, please excuse our intrusion, but there's something I have to tell you. Nosbor says, hello Ollie, what is it that brings you to me sort out of breath? Ollie says, I'm afraid we bring bad news. We met two little pearls on the beach. They swam all the way here from Pearl Island to tell us what happened to their realm and their people. They said that some dark lord took over their land, and his intention is to rule the world. He may well be coming to take Moristan next. Nosbor and Klupsha gasped. Oh no, Klupsha says, and she says, why would he ever do such thing? Nosbor says, I think I recognize a description of him. I think he's called Lord Pouguar. Dipper says, yes, that's the name he used. Lord Pouguar. Ollie says, Lord Pouguar? Nosbor says, yes, you see, long ago he fought my father's side, but Pouguar betrayed him and tried to claim the throne for himself. Pouguar had half of my father's army by his side, and so a fierce battle broke out. Pouguar wanted to destroy my royal family and our loyal followers. My father defeated him and banished him for good, to a faraway place where no cat has ever been before. Without the means to cross the sea, the world would be safe from this evil lord. That's a story of how my father protected his land and his people. Luther says, wow, so he has found a way to cross the sea on his giant birds, and it looks like he is hungry for revenge. Nosbor says, since Pouguar plans to come back here, we will quickly need to find help. We no longer have an army that can stand against him alone. I must take you to a portal station to go to another realm called Macfall Peak. I have friends there. They're called King Felix and Queen Felicia, and their daughter Princess Arabella. They can help us, I am sure. Moet says, okay, that sounds like a plan. The king took the cats and fairies to the portal station. They arrived at the portal station to meet up with Professor Simon, the professor who helped the four cats to go to four realms to find orbs that saved Alvadar. Professor Simon says, my King Nosbor, welcome to a portal station, and hello there Ollie, Luther, Moet and Dory. Ollie says, hi Professor, it's good to see you again. We are here to go to Macfall Peak. The two little turtles warned us about some Dark Lord. Professor Simon says, really? What's a Dark Lord trying to do? Ollie says, well, he is planning to take over the world, including Moristan. Professor Simon was shocked and said, oh my, not Moristan! Ollie says, I know, we must go to Macfall Peak to try and get help to defeat his army of crow riders. Professor Simon composed himself and says, yes, I'll turn on the portal right away. The professor turned some large dials to tune the portal to Macfall Peak. Nosbor says, good luck, my friends, and please make haste. Cats and Fairy says, thank you. Ollie, Luther, Dory, Moet, Natasha, Lilu, Livia, and Amanda stepped through the portal and disappeared, In an instant, they arrived at Macfall Peak. They finally arrived at Macfall Peak. The gang were amazed to see what the realm looked like. It had highlands and meadows, and of course the castle. Lilu says, "Oh my wow, this place is amazing." Natasha says, "I know, it's very nice." Ollie says, "Okay guys, we're going to see the king and queen and princess. They can help us find a way to take down the Dark Lord Pouguar." The gang made their way to the castle to meet the royal family. Guard 1 says, "Halt!" Guard 2 says, "Who goes there?" The gang stopped. Even the fairies were very nervous. But Moet decided to say something, and he said, "We are guests to see the royal family. I have important news from our homeland. Please, may we enter?" Guard 1 says, "Come on in, lad." Guard 2 says, "We'll open the doors and I will escort you." The doors were open, and the gang entered inside. The cats and fairies entered the castle through a huge, heavy gate. Dory says, "Wow, how amazing this whole place is." Ollie says, "It's brilliant." He turned to Moe and said, "It's a good thing you told the gods about the news about Moristan, wasn't it?" Moe says, "Thanks." The guard led them to a throne room. The guard asked permission to speak and explained that the cats had important news for him. King Felix says, "Well, hello there, lads and lassies. I am King Felix. This is my Queen Felicia and my beautiful lass, Arabella." Moe says, "Hi, your majesties." Arabella says, "Hi there. I'm very pleased to meet you all." King Felix says, "Please, lass, let your father do the talking." Arabella says, "Okay." King Felix says, "So, what news do you have and what can we do for you?" Ollie says, "Well, something terrible happened to our realm, Moristan. I met these two puddles, and they said that there'll be giant crows flying around. They are sent by an evil lord called Pouguar. The crows and their panther riders have destroyed the realm of Pertles, and they are coming for our realm, Moristan, next. We cannot resist with them without help. King Ospel sent us to ask you for your help, O generous king." King Felix says, I am good friends with King Nosborough. Of course I will help. This sounds like a task for our eagle riders. They swift and keen warriors. They will save your home. But there is something I would ask in exchange. Some flying monster, not seen before, was taken a liking to eagle eggs. The creature is eating them. Queen Felicia says, "We could task you defeat this. Otherwise our eagles will become extinct." Lilu says, "Oh my, what does the monster look like?" King Felix says, "He breathes fire, and he growls like a jaguar. It is called the Draguar." Ollie says, "I see. We'll take care of the Draguar for you, King Felix. Wish us luck." The cats and fairies departed to seek battle with the Draguar. Arabella says, "They're very nice cats. I always like the one who talked to me." Queen Felicia says, "Oh, that's very sweet of you." King Felix told the cat where they may find this monster, and without delay, they made their way to its den. Luther says, "Okay guys, this is getting a bit creepy down here. Lilu, do you have something that glows to help us see? It's dark in there." Lilu says, Yeah, I can glow myself. That will help." The fairies used magic to make themselves glow and flew into a Draguar's cave with the cat behind them. Ollie called to the fairies, "Do you see it yet?" A few seconds later, the fairies turned and flew past them, leaving the cave. They wailed, yelling, "Yes, the Draguar is in there!" Ahead the cat saw billowing smoke and heard a thunderous growl. The Draguar roared again as the cats prepared for battle. The Scottish Folds had heard what was happened and decided to go and watch the battle. Even Felix, Felicia, and Arabella came to watch. Arabella says, "Come on, lads, you can do it, you can do it." The Jaguar spat a ball of fire at Luther, but Luther dodged. Ollie grabbed the monster's tail. The Jaguar's tail swung around and threw Ollie to the ground next to where it had gathered some eggs to feast on later. Thinking quickly, Ollie grabbed all the eggs and looked to find another way out. At least those eggs would be safe. He called to the fairies to help him. Dory says, "How can we defeat this thing?" Moet says, "Come on, Dory, I know what to do. Follow me." Then Dory and Moet turned and ran and squeezed themselves into a crevice in the cave wall. Moet then taunted the Jaguar, sending it into a rage. The Jaguar let out a mighty roar, lowered its head and charged at the crevice. Bang! Its head hit the cave wall and bounced off. It charged again, and with a crash sent dust and rocks falling to the floor, or ground. After a fifth charge, there was a loud crack. The cave was about to collapse. Dory and Moet says, "Ollie, Luther, get out now! The cave is collapsing!" The rocks fell and crushed the Jaguar. The battle was won. Luther and Ollie looked on to see the pile of rocks on top of the monster. Ollie says, "Well, that seemed to do the trick." Livia and Lilo hugged Luther, and Natasha and Amanda hugged Ollie. Lilo says, "We did it! You defeated the monster!" Livia asked, "Where's Dory and Moet? I hope they're okay. They were nowhere to be seen." Ollie says, "Oh no, this is not good. Dory and Moet are missing. The Jaguar must have eaten them." Lilo gasped, "It ate Dory and Moet? Oh no, I can't believe it." Just then, Dory and Moet popped up from under some rocks and called to them. Ollie and Luther says, "Moet, Dory, you're alive!" The fairies cheered in relief and hugged them also. Natasha says, "Moet, Dory, thank goodness you're right." Moet says, "9 lives, remember?" Natasha says, 8 lives left. Ollie says, "And we have all the eagle eggs." The Scottish folds cheered and rushed at the heroes. Arabella went to Moet and said, "Well done! I am so proud of you and your siblings." Moet says, "Oh, gee, thanks. My name is Moet, by the way." Arabella says, "I'm Princess Arabella. You are the most amazing cat I've ever met." Moet says, "Thanks. Now we can have the eagles to fight the crows and save my home." Arabella says, "Aye, of course you can." The eagle eggs hatched, and several weeks later, the hatchlings were all growing, big, healthy, and majestic. Looking at the largest eagle, Arabella says, "Oh, look at you strong." The eagle hugged Arabella with its wings. Moet says, "Oh, this is so cute." Then the eagle hugged Moet also. Meanwhile, at Petal Island, Lord Pouguar finally completed his entire takeover of the realm. Many Purtles had lost their lives, and the ones that remained were in great peril. They all hated him so much for what he had done. Pouguar says,
"This is so delightful. My first conquest. Pearl Island is my first realm to rule, and this will be the first of many."
Jaguar says,
"Yes, sire. I'm really looking forward to our next victory."
Jaguar 2 says,
"I love this place. It's so amazing, though."
Pouguar says,
"Yes, so do I."
Then from the crowd of Purtles gathered in the palace, one brave soul yelled at Pouguar,
"You maniac! You caused this! You must stop this right now!"
Pouguar looked at a crowd of Purtles and said,
It looks like I have a fan." "I am the lord of this land now, so you will bow down to me?"
Purtle Peasant said,
"No, never!"
The Purtle replied. Pouguar says,
"Very well. You will be an example to those who won't bow to me.
Pouguar grabbed the puddle by the neck, then threw him out of the window. The puddle peasant screamed, "Ah!"
I'm okay. I just broke my shell. That's all.
Jaguar says,
That's right. You stay out, peasant. Anyone else?
Pouguar shouted at the other puddles,
I need your attention right now. I have made this very simple, all of you, and this realm belongs to me now. Mark my words, if anyone causes me trouble, they will be punished severely. You cannot stop me. Do you understand?
The puddles were very upset. Even their babies were crying. Then Pouguar unfurled a map of the world to see which realm he should take next. He looked at a map with a frown on his face. Then a few seconds later, he spotted Moristan and said,
Ah, yes, Moristan. Bob Carl's son lives here as king. You hear me, boy? I'm coming home to take your palace. It will be mine. I'm coming for you, son of Bob Carl.
Meanwhile, at Macfall Peak, Ollie, his gang, and all the Eagle Riders were getting ready to fly the battle with the crows and save Moristan. Arabella says, "Alright then, all the eagles are ready for us to fly all the way to Moristan." Moet says, "Absolutely, Arabella. This is going to be like when I restored Alvadar by using 4 orbs in each realm." Arabella says, "Alvadar? I never heard of this place before. Is it nice there?" Moet says, "Yeah, it was my home, but I live in Moristan nowadays, and so do my brothers and sister." Arabella says, "That's really nice." The cats and eagle riders are mounted. Then King Felix says, "My friends, you are on a mission to protect Moristan from those scrawny crows who are trying to take over the world. Thanks to the new lads for saving the eagle eggs from a bloodthirsty jaguar. My daughter will join all of your lads too." Queen Felicia says, "Do be careful. Those crows will charge you with their sharp black beaks and claws." The cat and Arabella lead the way with a flurry of beating wings. The eagles took to the air and wheeled towards Moristan. Queen Felicia says, "And good luck." So Arabella and her new friends were to lead the Eagle Riders into battle to save Moristan. As the eagles soared upwards, Natasha closed her eyes and felt the wind rush against her face. Ollie says, "Natasha, I'd open your eyes while flying if I was you." Natasha says, "I know, Ollie, but this is so nice and relaxing flying like this." Ollie says, "Well, okay, just be careful you don't get hit by something." Lulu says, "How awesome is this? We have an army of eagles, and we can save Moristan with them." Lucy says, "Of course." Lulu called her 3 sisters. "Are you keeping up alright, girls?" Natasha, Livia, and Amanda says, "We're fine." Dory says, "I'm so nervous. I don't want any crows hurting my eagle." Ollie says, "We'll be fine. Don't worry." At the same time, Turtle Island looked like a very different place. It was darker and felt foreboding. The puddles hoped that the evil jaguars would go away and never come back. Then with a loud beating noise, a shadow was cast over the land as Pouguar and his huge murder of crow riders took to the air. Moristan would be their next conquest. Pouguar's hungry eyes were focused, ahead with an evil smile on his face. Meanwhile, Arabella looked ahead and saw land. It was Moristan. "I can see Moristan now. Prepare for battle, my friends." Meanwhile, at Moristan, Nosbor was feeling quite anxious. He was very concerned about the fate of his kingdom. Klupsha, seeing his worried face, said, "Nosbor, what is it?" Nosbor replied, "I don't believe that our kingdom's going to fall. But if it does, then Millie won't be our future queen when she grows up. Klupsha says, I know, my dear. We'll just have to hope and pray that the cats and fairies are able to stop the Dark Lord and his evil minions. He gave Mila a cuddle, then Nosbor held her in his arms. Nosbor says, Thank you, daughter. Holding you makes me feel strong and it gives me hope. The time is almost upon us and must visit and ready the guards. Klupsha says, Have strength and courage, my dearest king. The captain of the guard entered a palace and said, Your Highness, the black crows are coming. The sky is black. There are so many. Nosbor says, Do your duty, Captain. Prepare the men. Captain says, Yes, my lord. We will take down these black crows. The cats were airborne, riding on the eagles, flying all the way to protect Moristan from Pouguar's evil force of crows. Unable to talk to each other in flight, the cats were lost in their own thoughts. Ollie was thinking about the battle plan they had devised. They wanted to be flying much higher than the crows so they could drop on them from above, hopefully taking them by surprise. Also, the height advantage would give them the ability to hit the crows at speed. Arabella was worried that some of the eagles might get injured in the coming battle. The other cats thought were lost in Moristan, thinking how important it was to stop this evil Pouguar. The cats were almost upon the castle at Moristan. They were scanning the skies, but could see no crows. Then Luther yelled at the top of his voice, There they are, ahead and below us. I see them now, cried Arabella. Moristan is under attack by crow riders. The crows were already attacking the inhabitants, except for one crow which was ridden by Pouguar. The crow took Pouguar to a castle, where he dismounted and started smashing on the outer door with a heavy mace. It wouldn't take him long to get inside. Pouguar says,
Oh, yes, I am so looking forward to the next bit.
At the same time, Ollie and the eagle riders prepared to swoop down on the crows. The eagles screeched. Nosbor looked out of the window and used his telescope. He saw that some of the cats riding the eagles were Ollie, Luther, Dory and Moet, and said, They're back! They're coming to save my kingdom! Then suddenly a black figure ran at the king and grabbed him with his strong paws. Nosbor says, No! In the skies, the battle was about to commence. One by one, the eagles rolled onto their backs, tucked in their wings, and dropped on the crow at great speed. Arabella's eagle was the first to hit one of the crows. Its claws tore onto its back, unseating its rider in a cloud of black feathers. Many of the other eagles also found their mark. Arabella says, Oi, it's time you crows went home. Crow Rider says,
That's a cute little bird you're riding. I'm going to take you down.
The Crow Rider turned his mount to attack. The eagle and the crow were fighting with their claws and sharp beaks. They squawked and screeched at each other. Moet saw them fight. Then the crow pushed the eagle, causing Arabella to fall. Ah! Help! Arabella says. Moet says, I'm coming for you, Arabella! Moet and his eagle rushed to save Arabella from the fall. Just in time, the eagle flew under the falling Arabella, who landed safely on his back. Arabella says, Thank you for saving me. Moet says, You're welcome. Arabella says, You know, I can always land on my feet. Cats do that. She smiled. Anyways, let's get back to fighting these mangy crows. Moet says, You got it. On the ground, Elle and Dipper were running from the crow. Elle says, Help! Help! Dipper says, Please don't bite me! Luther and Dory saw the two turtles running and went to their aid. Both eagles hit the crow at the same time, causing it to crash land, flinging its rider hard onto the ground. Dory and his eagle rushed to save them and said, "Hop in, guys." Elle says, "Dory, good to see you again." Dipper says, "Thanks, buddy." The Turtles jumped onto the eagle and were taken to safety. Earl was with Luther and Dipper was with Dory. Dipper called to Earl, "Hey, did you see what happened to Shadow?" Earl says, "Last time I saw her, she was running from some crows. They were getting very close to her and she seemed scared." Shadow screams, "Help!" Ollie saw her and rushed to save his love. Ollie's eagle took the crows by surprise, clawing and pecking at them. The crows flew away to find an easier prey. Ollie says, "Shadow, hop on, let's get you to safety." And he says, "Are you alright?" Shadow says, "Yes, you saved me, my brave Ollie." The eagles had taken the crows by surprise, and they fought hard. The crows were now in retreat. The battle was almost won, but there was Pouguar. The 4 cats dropped off Arabella, Shadow, and the Turtles at a safe place, and then made haste to Nosbor's castle. Ollie thought that is where they would find the big mad panther. As the cats arrived at the broken castle door, they were joined by the fairies. Natasha says, "Are you going in the castle? Because I'm afraid Pouguar's too powerful." Ollie says, "Yeah, we are." Livia says, "I think you need our help. We can give you powers to help you defeat the panther." Ollie says, "Oh, yeah, that'll be great." Luther, Dory and Moet welcomed the help. So Natasha, Lilu, Amanda and Livia joined Ollie, Luther, Moet and Dory, so together they could defeat Pouguar once and for all. In the castle, Pouguar had captured and caged Nosbor, Klupshaw and Mealy. Pouguar says,
"So, Nosbor, it's been so nice to see you again since your daddy kicked me out of the castle."
Nosbor says,
"Pouguar, you will never get away with this, ever."
Pouguar says,
"Well, it seems I already have. Now you be a good boy and declare your throne mine, or I'll destroy you and your despicable family."
Nosbor says,
"Never."
Pouguar says,
"Well, let's do this the hard way then. We start by saying goodbye."
Pouguar grabbed Nosbor with one paw, and on the other paw he extended his long razor-sharp claws. Now the royal family would die. Suddenly, he heard a young voice saying, "You know, it's not polite to show your hand to our king like that."
Pouguar asked, "Who said that?"
Ollie says, "I said that." Luther says, "We're here to stop you." Pouguar burst out laughing at the 4 cats, tiny-looking cats.
"Oh, that is so silly and pathetic. Your fate will be the same as this pathetic so-called royal family."
Ollie smiled as he and his siblings prepared to fight the Mad Panther. Nosbor says, "Ollie, you came back." Klupshaw says, "Be careful, he's very powerful." The fight between the 4 little cats and the big bad panther began. Luther is going to attack Pouguar with his claws, but was kicked away. He landed hard by the wall. Then Pouguar whacked Dory and Moet with both of his paws. Then Ollie saw his chance and sprung at the panther, clawing at his face. All this did was make Pouguar very angry. He took a swipe at Ollie and sent him flying. Pouguar says, "You cannot win, puny cats." The cats were not injured yet, but it was clear that a panther had the upper hand. They picked themselves up and called to the fairies for help. Pouguar says,
"No one will ever banish me again. I am the new king of Moristan, and you will bow down to me."
The fairies could see things were not going well for the cats, really. Natasha called to her sisters, "Girls, we need to cast our spells of the elements on each of them." Natasha gave Ollie the power of water. Lilu gave a power of fire to Luther. Amanda bestowed the power of air on Moet, and Livia gave a power of earth to Dory. The cats began to glow with power. Even some of their stripes changed colours. Pouguar was shocked.
No! What is this sorcery?
Ollie says, let's combine our powers together. We can defeat him. Ready, steady, go! Livia says, if they win, I'm going to cry. Together, the four cats reached out their paws towards a mad panther. The energy of the elements passed through them and struck their enemy. Pouguar screamed, but then he felt the energy of the elements was actually making him feel stronger. He started to laugh madly. He was becoming more powerful. Nosbor says, no, it can't be. The four cats lowered their paws and ceased their attack. Pouguar breathed heavily. He had never felt so strong. He laughed again and said,
Yes, I am the most powerful being in the world. You four brats can't defeat me. You helped me.
Ollie says, are you sure about that? Moet says, take a look at your left paw first. Pouguar started to feel a little strange. His whole body started to feel stiff. He looked at his paw, and to his horror, it had turned to stone.
No, 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 no! Ah!
Then his body hardened and started to turn grey. He had been turned to stone with a look of terror on his face. Nosbor and Clubshot kept Mealy away from seeing the horror of Pouguar's fate. Even Ollie and his siblings and the fairies looked away. Then the statue turned into dust and blew out the window and disappeared. There were only two things left where he was. His two wristbands had dropped to the floor. The fairies came to the cats and Lulu said, we did it! Luther says, yes, we did it! Then the cage holding Nosbor and his family shimmered and faded away. The royal family was free. Nosbor laughed happily and said,
Ha ha ha! Way to go, my boy! You did it!
Ollie says, thank you, Nosbor. Mealy came to Ollie and gave him a hug. The fairies saw Mealy hug Ollie, and Livia said, oh, this is adorable! Our princess is hugging one of our heroes. Amanda says, I know. Lilo says, well, it's been a successful day. Clubshot said to the heroes, we are forever grateful for saving our homeworld. Ollie says, you're welcome. Luther looked at Pouguar's wristbands and called to Ollie, what should we do with these? Ollie says, I don't know. Dory says, I know just the person to give them to. The cat gang decided to give Pouguar's wristbands to Elle and Dipper, one band each. Dipper says, wow, that is some cool looking thing. Elle says, I know, I can't wait to take it home and keep it into my collection. Dipper says, yes, me too. Then Nosbor called to the rest of the inhabitants.
Good cats of Moristan, Pouguar and his dark forces of evil have been defeated, thanks to our heroes and the eagle riders from the realm of Macfall Peak. Peace has returned and once again we are saved.
Everybody cheered and celebrated. The heroes smiled so happily that they had won the battle. Apart from Moet, who saw what had happened to Arabella's eagle. Oh dear. Tears welled in Arabella as she tended her wounded mount. I'm sorry, my lad. I hope you'll be okay. She puts her paw on his beak, and the eagle appeared to smile. Then he drifted off into a deep sleep. The eagle riders decided to make a large net. They could then use it to carry the wounded eagle home where he could rest and heal. Moet and Arabella talked to each other. Moe says, "Are you okay?" Arabella says, but... Moe says, "What's the matter?" Arabella says, "I just hope my eagle will be okay." Moe says, "Yeah, he'll be fine. Don't worry. He will be taken home and healers will look after him. This is amazing. With the help of the eagles, we managed to save Moristan. Without you, we could not have succeeded." Arabella says, "You're welcome, Moe, and thank you for saving me from the fall when the crows attacked my eagle." She kissed him on the cheek. Moe blushed. "Oh, you're welcome." Arabella says, "So, what would you like to do now we have completed our task?" Moe says, "Well, I would like to come back to Macfall Peak with you." Arabella says, "Oh, that would be lovely." Moe says, "I'll check with Ollie, Luther and Dory and that it would be okay for me to accompany you." Moe went to his siblings and asked about going to Macfall Peak with his Arabella. Moe says, "Hi guys, I've been thinking. Macfall Peak is a very nice place. I would love to return there with Arabella. We really like each other and want to be together. Is it okay with you if I go?" Ollie says, "Yeah, of course it is." Luther says, "Sure thing, brother." Dory says, "If you want to, of course, yes." Moe gave each of his siblings a hug, then Arabella came to hug them also. El and Dipper asked one of the eagle riders to drop them off back to Puddle Island. Moe called his siblings and the fairies. "Bye guys, I'll see you again soon. Take care of you all." Arabella, Moe, and the company of eagles took to a sky and take the puddles home, and then returned to Macfall Peak. Daisy says, "Wow, these eagles are so majestic, aren't they, Dylan?" Dylan says, "Yeah, Daisy, I think they're amazing." Daisy says, "I'm so relieved Dory and her brothers saved Moristan with them." Dylan says, "Yeah, absolutely." That night, there was a firework display to celebrate a victory over a Dark Lord. Ollie, Luther, Dory, Shadow, Dylan, and Lilu were watching the display. Shadow says, "It's all so magical." Ollie says, "Yeah, it is." Shadow says, "These eagles are so amazing that they helped you keep our home safe." Ollie says, "It is, Shadow. I also don't want you getting hurt." Shadow says, "Don't worry about me, Ollie Berry. I'll be fine." Ollie says, "I know you will. I love you." Shadow says, "I love you too." Luther says, "Thanks for your help with magic powers, Lilu. We couldn't have won without your help." Lilu says, "No problem at all, Luth." Luther says, "Giving us those powers must have been a drain for you. Will you be okay?" Lilu says, "Don't worry, honey. I'll be fine." Luther says, "Well, as long as you are sure, okay." Then Daisy spoke to her siblings. Daisy says, "So guys, what would you like to do for the next few days?" Dylan says, "Well, I thought we could have a wander around together and just enjoy the countryside." Dory, what do you think? Dory says, "That's a great idea." Then Natasha and Ollie talked, and Natasha asked, "Are there any other places we could go to have an adventure?" Ollie says, "I've had enough adventures for now, I think." Then he said to Shadow, "Shadow, I'm going to be king of Alvadar when I grow up. Will you be my queen?" Shadow says, "Yes, I'd love that." Lilu says, "Oh, that would be lovely to see them as king and queen of Alvadar. But let's watch the fireworks together." Natasha says, "Okay, that's fine." And so the cats and fairies watched the rest of the firework display together. At the same time, Moe and Arabella were at Macfall Peak enjoying a party of their own. The Scottish Fort were playing bagpipes. Arabella says, "Thanks for coming to Macfall Peak again, Moe." Moe says, "You're welcome, my lovely. This place is amazing, and so are you." Arabella says, "Thank you, handsome lad." Moe says, "So what do you think of Moristan?" Arabella says, "It's fantastic. I would love to return and meet with your kin under happier times." Moe says, "My brothers and sister?" Arabella says, "Aye, what do you reckon?" Moet says, "Sounds like a good plan." So Moet and Arabella danced with the rest of the Scottish folds. King Felix and Queen Felicia watched them have a fun time this magical night, until the young cats get to go on new adventures with Moet's siblings. Elle and Dipper were back at Pirtle Island. Their realm was being rebuilt by the surviving Pirtles. They took their prizes to their houses. One was placed at Elle's living room, and the other in Dipper's study. Well, that was a great read-along. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I'll be telling you a story about a guy who has autism and an alien who's, well, curious. Thanks again for watching, and have a good night.